welcome back to my channel. So I already know what y'all gonna say. Girl, where you been? Yes, I know I've been MIA for about 3 months on YouTube. I sincerely apologize, and you know what? I cannot wait to update you guys on my life. We're not gonna do that today. We're not gonna do that today. Today is all about hair, which is why you see my lovely mannequin head behind me. But at some point in the next coming months, I'll be updating you guys on what the heck has been going on with me. Because baby 30 has been a situation, so I need to let y'all know what's happening. All good stuff, but yeah. Anyway, that's not why you're here. You're here because you want to see content, right? So for today's video, we are going to be making a wig. Now, if you guys have been on this channel for a minute, you know I have never made a wig on this channel. I have no clue what I'm doing, but today we're gonna try it. We're gonna try it out. We're gonna try it because I've been wanting to do this. I've been wanting to do this for some time, y'all. So yeah. All right, so I've watched like 20 wig making videos. I'm not gonna lie to you because like I said, I don't know what I'm doing. So I'm gonna just show y'all what I captured out of all those 20 videos of what you need to make a wig, and then we're gonna jump into actually making a wig. The first thing obviously that you would need is some type of wig cap. So I went to the beauty supply store and I got 3 different ones because I don't know which one's gonna work on my big old head. So I got 3 different wig caps, and I promise you my dog didn't take a bite out of this. This is just how I opened it because I was lazy. But I got a mesh dome wig cap. Most of the people I saw use this. Of course I had to get it in the extra large because you know the girl head is big. Then I got a multi-use weaving cap that looks like this or whatever, and then I got a regular spandex dome cap, all extra large. Again, shout out to my big head girls because y'all know the struggle. So anyway, got the wig caps. We're gonna try those on in a minute, so we'll see which one we'll go with. And then of course I got my needle and thread. Of course you want the curved needle and whatnot. A white pen. I saw a lot of people using this. I'm not sure what the purpose is yet, but we'll figure it out. These supposedly are really important, T-pins. T-pins supposedly are very important when doing your wig. But most importantly, y'all, you need some good hair, okay? You gotta have some good hair to do you a good wig. So, if you guys saw on my channel, probably about maybe 5 to 6 months ago, I did a video using sage extensions, and so I love the hair so much that I actually wanted to use some more of their hair. So I'm collaborating with them again to do a bone straight wig. So I'll show you guys the hair that they sent me. Basically, I have I think a 16-inch, I think this is 16 inches. I'll put all the details about the hair down below in the description box. But I have a 16-inch closure, and as you can see, this is what the closure looks like. And this is fresh out of the pack. Of course, I haven't washed it or anything. I'm gonna wash all the hair once I have the wig together. And then I have 3 bundles of 22-inch hair. So let me pull it out, show you guys what it looks like. And this hair is their Indonesian hair. 22 inches, and this is 3 bundles of hair right here. Again, fresh out of the pack, so I'm gonna wash it and do my whole little situation. So 3 bundles and a closure, and we about to make this wig. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna do is try to figure out which wig cap is gonna work for my head. So let me take my little hair wrap off. Y'all see I got my hair braided. Y'all see this big old noggin? Bloop! Still beautiful. So I'm gonna try on, I saw a lot of people use the spandex dome caps. So let me try one of the spandex dome caps on. This is the one that's not mesh. Let me try this one on first and see if it works. I don't think it has a back. Doesn't look like it, so we're gonna try this one on. Let's see. Okay. Oh yeah, girl, this is a perfect fit. Oh, that's perfect. Okay, so that is the one that looks like I took a bite out of it. The spandex dome cap in an extra large. It's the regular one. It says ultra stretch. That one works. So this one, that one might be. So the next one I'm trying on is the multi-use weaving cap. So this one, I feel like I've seen this one more so on like the $20 wigs that I would buy in the store. So, oh, this is thin. That's a no. And then the last one I'm trying on is the mesh dome cap. Now, from what I saw people do in the videos, it seemed like the mesh dome cap was the one that people liked the most because it's the most sturdy and breathable. So let's see if this one actually fits my head. Oh, this one fits too. Oh, okay, wait a minute. Let's see. All right, so we got a little extra room on this one. Yeah, we got a little extra space. Oh, I like the mesh one. And it stretches more. Yeah. Oh, okay. We have a winner. We're gonna go with the mesh dome cap, and it stretches. This is what it looks like, extra large. I'll put these details down below. This was $2.99 at the beauty supply store. So anyway, now let's move on to the actual star of the show. I'm gonna move out of the frame and bring this in because this is obviously ain't sewing the wig on my head. So
So the first thing I'm going to do is actually take the mesh dome cap and put it on the mannequin head. So you want to just make sure the puffy point of the mannequin head is facing backwards. That's going to be the back of your wig. And then place it on the front. One thing I didn't show here is that I did measure on the inside to determine where my ears would be. So you'll see it later in the video where I actually take that white pencil and mark where my ears are, but I did do it on the inside. So using my T-pins, I'm going to basically pin the closure down to the mannequin cap, not to the actual mesh cap, if you get what I'm saying. So the very front of the lace, I took it and I put it off of the cap. So it's kind of outside of the mesh portion, if that makes any sense whatsoever. And the reason why you want to do this is because you definitely want to make sure you have enough room to sew the hair down once you sew the closure. So I brought it forward just a little bit. I've seen people put that lace right on the band of the mesh dome cap, but I brought mine forward just a little bit. Now I'm just taking those T-pins and pinning the closure all the way around. Like I mentioned earlier, you definitely want to make sure the closure is laying completely flat before you start to sew. So put as many pins in the closure as possible in order to get it as flat as possible. Now I'm just going to begin sewing the closure down to the mesh cap. First thing I'm going to do actually is spray the closure with some water just to get a lot of the flyaways out of the way, just to have them lay down. This way, once I start to sew, I don't have a lot of hair getting caught in the actual the sewing thread, so this helps out a lot. Alright, so as you guys can see, I'm essentially just taking the needle through the very tail end of the closure to sew it. I'm not doing any fancy technique, I'm just doing the basic sewing pattern that you would do, and I'm spacing it probably about 1/4 of an inch apart. I didn't want it too far apart, especially since the closure needs to be extremely flat, so I sewed it pretty close together. This is probably the most important thing I learned by watching the videos, is that when you get to the front of your dome mesh cap, you definitely want to make sure you do not sew through the thick band at the top. You just want to sew on the mesh portion. So basically when you get to the front, do not try to sew through the entire band, as that band is actually used to secure the wig to your head. So if you sew all the way through the band, it's going to make the wig tighter. That's what you don't want. So just make sure you're sewing on that mesh top portion when you get to the front. Now that I have the closure completely sewn down in the front, I'm going to go ahead and move on to the back and take the T-pins and pin down the first bundle of hair. So again, this hair is by Sage Extensions, and it is their 22-inch raw Indonesian hair. So what I'm going to do for the wig is actually do the flip over method. So of course it's important that with the flip over method you try to get it as flat as possible. So again, no different than the closure, just really taking my time pinning the hair down. So as I mentioned, I'm doing the fold over technique for this hair. So I definitely want to make sure the hair is as flat as possible. So when I'm at the very ends of the bundle, like right here, I'm going to double knot under the weft just to make sure the wefts do not move. So as you can see, I'm just twisting, double knot, and bringing it through. So I did that all the way throughout the wig just to make sure those ends do not puff up as I'm sewing the hair down. Alright, so the same rules apply when you're sewing these wefts or bundles down to the wig cap. Just make sure if you're on the band, the super dark portion of the mesh cap, that you do not sew the wefts all the way through that band, just because it's going to make it tighter on your head. So just make sure you're only catching that very top mesh portion of the band as you sew. So I kind of struggled with doing the first bundle of hair, but once I got towards the tail end of it, I got it down packed. But one thing I realized was that I was trying to sew through the weft of the bundle, and that is not what you do. You definitely want to make sure you sew under the weft. It makes it so much easier to go through the hair versus you trying to get through a weft. So just make sure you're going under the weft and sewing to the mesh cap. So I pretty much did the fold over method until I got about 2 inches from, or I should say an inch and a half away from the front of the closure. So once I got to that area, I realized if I tried to do the fold over method, it would be kind of bulky. So I decided to cut the third bundle just to make sure everything fit properly. But you guys will see here, as I got to the front, I started to just make sure I sew carefully and that the hair wouldn't look super how do I put it, puffy up top. So now that I've cut the weft, I'm just going to take that last bundle of hair and obviously fit it into the sections that are still open in the very front. Again, just making sure I space it out a good amount so it's not super bulky. Alright, so the next thing I'm doing is totally optional. I am spraying the hair just to make sure I don't have any like super bumpy portions in the wig now that I'm done sewing it down. Obviously, again, like I mentioned, this is my first wig, so I don't want it to look super bulky. So that's what I'm doing here. You don't have to do this, but yeah. And now that I am done sewing the cap down, the very front has to be cut out. So basically the very front of the cap where the closure is sitting, I'm just cutting under the closure to get that portion off. The reason why you want to cut this is because if you're wearing a closure, you want it to look as natural as possible. Obviously, if there's black mesh under the closure, it won't look natural. So just cut around where you sewed the closure down and take that part out. It doesn't impact the actual wig in any way if you cut that part out. Alright, in order to speed this thing up, I went ahead and installed an elastic band offline, as well as I washed the hair offline. So now I'm just going to go ahead and blow dry the hair out, as well as flat iron the hair and rock it. So this is the hair in a blown out state. I have not put a flat iron to it whatsoever. You guys, look at how luscious this hair is. I am in love. First off, I love the natural color of the hair. It does not look like fake hair whatsoever. Like if I put this on my head, people would probably think this is my hair blown out, and I love that about it. I love natural looking hair, and so this looks super natural. It's super shiny. Like honestly, I could wear it in the state without having to flat iron it, and it would look super good. So just something to keep in mind if you guys are contemplating getting some hair from Sage. I like this hair as well, and yeah, so check it out. So I am going to go ahead and just flat iron it just a little bit. I want the ends to be a little bit straighter, because for this day I had an event going on. So I'm taking one of my brushes. I can't remember the name of the brush, but I'll put it down below in the description bar. It just helps get the hair pretty straight. It's a two-sided brush. And then I'm taking my FHI flat iron and just going ahead and applying just minimal heat to the hair. Like I mentioned, within the blown out state, the hair is pretty straight already, so it didn't need much flat ironing. Y'all, look at how this hair is just blowing in the wind after I flat ironed it. Yes. So I went ahead and finished the flat iron off camera just because I had somewhere to go and I was already late. So as you can see here, this was the final result of the flat iron. It looks super good. Loved it. So now what you're looking at is, I would say, about a week or two afterwards. I went ahead and I didn't re-flat iron the hair or anything like that, but it did curl up just a little bit. Not too bad though for the week. So I've been rocking this hair just on and off for the past couple of weeks, so I can give you guys kind of my final thoughts on it. So I'm just showing you now kind of what I would do once a week just to get the hair to lay down properly. So I'm just using some edge booster to get that closure to lay down flat. Of course, you can also use a I would say a hot comb to get it to lay down, but I just use the edge control. It helps lay it down flat, so that's a little trick you can do. But yeah, I really love this hair. I think Sage Extensions really does a great job in the quality of hair that they offer. I love that they are a black owned brand, first off, and secondly, that they really ensure that the quality of hair that they deliver to their customers is not only raw but also is not full of chemicals, which I think is important. A lot of times we purchase hair from these companies and we have no clue where it's coming from. So I love the fact that this brand has really made it clear that that's their stance, not only to ensure that they give safe quality hair, but also educate their consumers on the importance of that. So definitely love the hair. Definitely will continue rocking this wig. As y'all can see, it looks phenomenal. So yeah. And I have to also say I'm super proud of myself for accomplishing this wig. I honestly did not think I could do it. And so now that I know I can make wigs, I will be unstoppable. But yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning into this video. Of course, if you have any questions, just let me know. And until next time, thank you for watching. Bye.